What does it mean to be a good dancer?
It's like the same question as what does it mean to be a good singer?
Yeah, or a good artist, or like
Yeah.
making something good. I always say, don't worry about making something good.
Jay says that too.
He stole that from me. He really did. I steal everything from him, so that one thing he stole from me.
Have you always been like that? Like the don't try to make something good?
Yes, that like because at a very like young, stupid age, people were asking me for advice, and I didn't have any advice. But the only thing that I could come up with was, don't worry about or think about making something good. Just make something meaningful to you.
Why did people ask you for advice so young?
Well, just I made a movie, and they would say, what advice do you have to young filmmakers? And I didn't have anything. I was 22 being asked, like, what is your advice to young filmmakers? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the first thing I came up with as a piece of advice, and I just said it in like 1,000 interviews, was don't worry about making something good. Just make something that's extremely meaningful to you, that you're called to make, and it will be meaningful to other people.
We live in a complex and ever-changing world, a place that is maybe harder than ever to successfully navigate. The answer is surely to be brave, but it's also to seek and be open to guidance. Mentors are the one consistent through line in the lives of all accomplished people, myself included. So welcome to Mentor Buffet, a feast for those, like me, curious about who helped the most successful among us succeed. Cooper RAIFF is a filmmaker, writer, director. You might know him from Cha-Cha Real Smooth or Shithouse, or his new project, Hal and Harper, which is out now on Mubi. Today, Cooper shared about a teacher that he met in high school and also his mentor, Jay Duplass. His relationship with Jay changed how he saw himself as a writer and filmmaker, and it also changed how I see myself as a writer and filmmaker. Cooper believes that you don't make art to make something good, you make art to make something true. And in order to do that, you need to access yourself. And in order to access yourself, you need to find the confidence to spend time alone. Here's my conversation with Cooper RAIFF.
When I was a senior in high school, there was this
in Dallas,
Texas, there was this theater teacher named Catherine Hopkins who got hired. And I remember the first day, like I did theater, and so I was very interested in like who the new theater teacher was, and she introduced herself, and I just felt like an immediate, I know this person, I've met this person in a past life or something. I don't know what it was, her like sensibility or the way she talked, or her eyes or something. I was like, I feel very close to this person as she's just doing an introduction about who she is. I feel like I singled her out, and not like I said, I need you to be my mentor, but I just, in my mind, she was this person who I knew was going to be important in my life, whether it was just watching her work or whether it was like just observing her, or I didn't know. But over the course of that year, we created 2 classes together where it was just, she was the teacher, I was the only person in the class, because I was a senior, and it was kind of like,
you did like an independent study.
Yes,
with her.
Yeah. My school wasn't really like that, but senior year you could just kind of do whatever you wanted. And so I was like, can I just do this class with Catherine? And it was her first year, so she was like, of course, yeah, let's do it. My experience with her being my mentor was she taught me like everything about, or she taught me that I was a writer. I wasn't writing before I met her. I was just acting and thought I wanted to be an actor. And she kind of told me, no, you're a writer. And I was like, I literally have never written anything. And she was like, that's what we're going to do then. And so the whole class was just, she would give me writing assignments, and I became a writer for a year. And then I went to college in LA, and I started writing movies and writing just, I don't know if I wrote I think it was just I was writing movies. And I literally, for my whole freshman year of college, was just trying to get people to read scripts that I had written. And because I was in LA, so I was like, oh, this can't be that hard. I'll just send my script to every agent ever. and it doesn't work like that. And so no one ever read anything that I wrote. And then at some point, I like rolled my eyes, and backing up into high school, I was Togetherness, Jay's show, came out when I was, I think, a sophomore in high school. And I was a massive fan of that show. And that's actually what made me become a massive fan of the Duplass brothers. It was Togetherness first. And then I went back and watched The Puffy Chair and watched Jeff Lives at Home and watched Cyrus. And so I was always obsessed with them in high school, but never took their advice and thought their advice sounded really hard. And so my freshman year of college, when I was writing, I was sending all of my scripts to like literally like every UTA agent or like every like CAA agent. No one ever responded. And I would like call. I remember calling my current manager. She's now a manager, Joanne, because she was Mark and Jay's agent. Mm-hmm. And I said, will the Duplass brothers read this script that I wrote? She was like, they don't do that. Make something. That's their whole advice, is just make something. And I was like, okay, but can they just read this? I think they'll like it. She was like, no. And it sent me like a really nice email that was like, Jay and Mark don't have the bandwidth to read scripts. Mm-hmm. And that's what everyone always said if they were nice enough to respond. So then my sophomore year of college, I took the advice and just made something. And I made it with the intention of sending it to Jay.
Oh, wow.
And this guy gets lost in the story. And I don't even think he would say this because it would probably make him feel weird that I just made him a movie. But I really made this movie knowing that like the movie is an hour-long movie of my college love story shot with just me, my actual girlfriend, and my best friend, Will. So I was like booming in scenes that I was in. Yeah. So like he was holding the camera, Will was holding the camera. I was in a 2-shot with Madeline, and I was like under the frame booming us. And so it was that homemade. And we made it over the course of a week. Mm-hmm. I edited the movie, I think on iMovie. I was like, I can't afford Premiere. So it was like not well edited because iMovie's not as good as Premiere. But so then I put it on YouTube. My family members wanted to watch it, and I was like, sure, you can watch it. And I think they did, but they didn't really say anything about it because it's on YouTube still, but it's like, it's very boring. Like it's not a very engaging piece of art, but it's very truthful, and it's got something. And I knew that Jay, if he watched it, would respond to it. I just like, it felt like Catherine Hopkins, where I've always in my head like singled him out for some universe reason. And so I tweeted him the YouTube link, and I said, bet you won't click on this link and email me after. Because I was like, I'm going to get really specific with him and make it so that he doesn't have to do a lot. He just clicks on it. If he responds to it, he can just say, I watched it, I won the bet. And maybe, I didn't say, well, like, bet you won't email me to get lunch. I just said email. So then I sent it. And I think less than 3 days later, I got an email that said, I watched it.
How did you feel? I
remember, of course, I first thought it was a joke. Like I thought, because some of my friends I had told that I was doing it. So I was like, this could be a cruel prank that someone's like, you thought he was going to actually email you. Because he didn't say anything else. He just said, I don't remember exactly what the email was, but it was something like, I watched it. It wasn't like, let's get lunch or something, so that you know that I'm real and that this is me. And so I responded before processing anything, I think. Like I responded, if this is really Jay, thank you so much for watching. Would you want to get lunch or something? And then he said, let's get lunch at Cindy's Diner in Eagle Rock. And then I started sobbing because I knew it was him. Because I knew where he lived. I was a stalker, and like Cindy's was like Eagle Rock, where Occidental is also. And because that was the other thing is I had establishing shots of like the big boulder in Eagle Rock. So like I knew that he would click on the movie and know, oh, this was made in my neighborhood also.
Yeah.
And maybe have that connection to it. But so then I remember really sobbing when he asked to get lunch because one, I knew it was him, but I think the main feeling was just not being alone. Like it was this, no one in my life, like my girlfriend and Will included, like they didn't have the same, like for as long as I can remember, I've had this like desire to be on set with people who are like me. Mm-hmm. And I think that was what always drove me. Like seeing Catherine Hopkins, I was just, she talks, like, she reminded me of my self in a way, I guess. I saw, that makes me feel not alone. And so Jay, when I watched Togetherness, I was like, okay, I'm not alone. Like there's like an episode where they go back to Detroit, and it could choke me up talking about it. It's like there's someone from the Soul Tribe. That's the feeling that I get with certain people. And my big like driving force, I think, in my life when I was in high school and college was not I want to write or I want to make a movie. Yeah. It was I want to be around.
Be a part of something.
Be a part of something.
Yeah. Be a part of these like totally. Like it doesn't even seem like you were asking yourself to be perfect. You were asking yourself to be truthful and show your potential, right? And
not even my potential. It was like my specific truth. It was the only movie that I could make.
Right.
That it was called Madeline and Cooper. It was just about me and my girlfriend. And it was very quiet. It was very slow. It was the dialogue in there was very, I just knew that he would respond. I knew that, like, I love Mark so much. It was like this specificity of like, I think Jay, like I would watch, they did talkbacks after the HBO, at the end of the HBO shows, they talk in chairs.
Yeah.
And I just remember listening to Jay talk, and I was like, I just want him to see this movie, and I want to get lunch with him. And he said, let's get lunch.
Let's get lunch.
Yeah. And it's been a while since, like, I can so easily tap into that feeling that I had going to Cindy's. And it's such a feeling of remembering. Like, I think people describe it as like, it's the beginning of your life or whatever, that feeling. But I think what that really is like someone's helping you remember like who you are, and you're not questioning it.
This holiday season, my team at Merrill and I want to invite you to GTFO. Get the festivities outside. How am I doing it? I'm going to go to Oregon this fall after I run the New York City Marathon with my friends, and we are going to do a scavenger hunt on the trails we used to run. And at the end of the scavenger hunt, we're going to do a secret gift exchange, but it all has to be Oregon themed. And what I love about this is that we're doing our holiday exchange in a place we used to all live and love, and we're celebrating the thing we love most about Oregon, being outside. GTFO can mean anything from get the fun outside to get your friends outside. This is an invitation to get outside and celebrate. For over 40 years, Merrill has been a global leader in hike. For a limited time, we're partnering with Merrill to give you an exclusive offer of 25% off your first purchase using code MentorBuffet25 when you check out on Merrill.com.
Have you ever seen the movie Spider-Verse?
No.
There's a movie, the Spider-Man animation movie. You should watch it.
Okay.
The whole movie is this concept of a bunch of Spider-Mans who have the same kind of core story all come together and basically make each other feel not alone in the universe. It's like all these alternate lives, but like so it's like kind of like it seems like a crazy idea, but really the movie is just, you're not alone because I've been through what you've been through, and there's something that we share. And I feel like when I got lunch with Jay, I didn't go in with like, help me make a movie or help or give me a job, or I just literally wanted to talk to him for hours and hours and hours. And that's what we did. It was just like, by the end of it, we ended up talking about his stuff, because I was just asking so many questions about like, what are you working on? Like I would say, can I be involved in that? And leaving that meeting, there was nothing career wise that I got out of it other than saying, I remember I was like, could I be a script coordinator on the show that you're working on? And he was like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, cool. But we just became friends. And I knew that we were going to get lunch again, because it was just, I think it was very joyful for both of us. And I went to the bathroom. I can so easily get like connected to the feeling too. I went to the bathroom and I cried for a second and I smiled and I went right back out, and I was just like, this is your life. Like,
Yeah,
this is it.
your real life.
Yeah.
It's so awesome when you realize that the present is like, you would not change what you're doing in a moment for anything else. And the more moments we can have in life where we wouldn't, this is exactly where we'd want to be right now. And then to feel the like wonder that it's really happening is like such a, like, you just want people to feel that more.
I know.
You know?
Yeah. Because it's also, once you experience it, you don't, like, I'm not in need.
You're not in need. Well, that was the other thing, is that the way that I'm seeing it with you guys is like, you just took the best next step and functioned at the height of your intelligence, including like making this project, making this outreach. It wasn't like, there was no like manipulative plan.
No, right.
And that's really important for like people to hear and understand, is that like, you can't totally manipulate your life. And especially when it comes to human relationships, you have to like, they have to be real, and you have to be in the present with them. And as much as we can, to be in circumstances where there's no need or goal,
right,
is like the best way to be.
I remember when in my life, when I was telling people, I like remember my uncle being like really obsessed with the fact that he was like, you were a fan of the Duplass brothers and then you're getting lunch. Like he was like, you're like a crazy manifester. I'm like doing an impression. I love Uncle Jeff so much. I love you so much. But he was like obsessed with like, you're like a wizard. And it's I've never thought of it as like manifesting so much as I recognized, you can almost say like, oh, I recognized someone from a past life and I knew we were going to do a dance in this one too. And I just like, and I also knew that it was going to be something that I needed. Mm. And I think Jay would actually say it was something he needed too.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Cause he was seeing a younger him, and he was going through his own stuff. And I remember feeling pretty desperate for it. Mm-hmm. And I don't feel desperate for that now. I feel like trusting that I'll find people who I'm supposed to find, and people who need to find me, they'll find me. They'll
find you. And you said that he helped you remember who you were.
Yes.
And that's different than he changed everything about who you were. He changed your whole life. You changed his whole life. It was almost like he needed you in that moment. You needed him in that moment to just remind yourselves of who you are. And especially being at that crossroads in your life of like, is this going to turn into your full life? Because you're in college, you made this film over spring break. Is this going to be, and that's when you have to double down on who you really are.
Yeah.
Right. And evolve into more of who you are.
Right.
And so I think that the whole like outcome of it was just like your feet are more solidly in the ground, not you're like a completely changed human, is an interesting thing to point out.
I spent a weekend doing a journey with friends.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I did drugs.
Yeah,
there was the drug got rid of fear.
Yes,
it was like the super simple thing where
I understand
where I sweat like 10 pounds. I was just
Yeah.
and was told like that's your fear and it's gone. So now the fear is gone and you're just like sitting in love. And I got all these like kind of universe messages, and the biggest one was, we don't change. We just need to remember. And that's what I was saying was, we don't ever, the process of growing or whatever is, you're not changing, you're just remembering who you are. And there's a lot of things in life that build and you start to forget, or you need someone to help you remember or validate, like you were feeling lonely, but you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've experienced that a lot this past year, of people out of nowhere just reminding me, you're not alone. Like it's a thing that happens a lot in my life where I'm just like, well, who are you? Why are you telling me that? But it's something I think I struggle with, and that it's like a good reminder to me that we. But yeah, that's all to say. I don't think that in life we grow. I think we kind of come into ourselves, and it's just, if we think about it as remembering, it's so attainable.
Yeah, the word is something that's very like, it's new for me to say remembering.
I know.
It's very new.
It takes a sec. The remembering is not memories. They're not memories. It's like I'm like that too. Well, I don't have any memories from my childhood.
Oh, you don't?
I still don't. Like and maybe one day it'll all happen for me. But like something is so locked. I don't remember my childhood house. Like I don't even remember it. And I just made a whole show about like saying goodbye to your childhood house, but I literally cannot. And I've like told my mom I need like pictures of my room, and she doesn't have them. She's like, it's like I like will never remember this. Like then they called it the sad house. My parents called it the sad house, and I was like, yeah, it's sure, but I want to feel the sadness, and can you like show me pictures? And I go, we don't have any. And what happened was, it's not a big thing. My sister was born. I have two little sisters. My middle sister was born when I was 4.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was 6 months old, they were told she has holoprosencephaly, which means her brain didn't divide into 2 hemispheres, and she was never going to walk, never going to talk. And her smiling that she's doing is just a reflex. It's not real happiness. It's just, and at the same time, my mom's grandma died suddenly. And then 9/11 happened, like all in the same like 2 months. And my parents, I think, were very rocked by everything. And I had just had 4 years of like party time. My parents they are still alive and awesome. And I think I had 4 years of like true, all the attention was on me, and we're having a great time. And then something happened, and it was so different, and it was so foreign to my 4-year-old self. And they never, something that I learned making Helen Harper, like I don't remember when it came to me, but I was like, oh, no one told me it was going to be okay. Mm. And that was like the big discovery of my, I think, childhood, was like I was constantly confused. And if someone had just said to me,
yeah,
everything's going to be okay.
That makes me really emotional.
Well, that's what we all as kids need is, it's different, but everything's going to be okay. And because I don't think that as a 4-year-old you can experience grief or experience these big.
You don't have perspective, and so what you have is a repeating mirror of what you're seeing, and you assume this will just be a stamp over and over and over again because it's the most present real thing. And so if no one tells you it will be otherwise, then it might be this forever.
Exactly. And what did I do? What happened? Why are you staying there? There's like flashes in Helen Harper because I don't have memories, but I have like these like flashes.
Yeah, I noticed the flashes.
And it's just, it's parents in bed, and parents can't get out of bed. That was like, that's what I associate with whatever was happening in my childhood. I don't have like these memories, but there was something.
Yeah, there's these little memories.
Yes.
Mine are like 4 seconds long. Like I have 4 memories of my mom, and they're like 4 seconds. Like they're very short, and they're very like, why those ones?
Why
like
those ones?
Yeah.
Well, and don't tell me them, but I want to know.
I can tell you them.
What are they?
One of them is she smoked cigarettes, and which is how I thought she died until I was in 7th grade because my dad didn't tell me. And she wore these sweatsuits. So I just remember she was like this like very glamorous. She was like 4'10". She was very small, and she would smoke cigarettes. And one of my memories, and she was manic bipolar, so she was like unpredictable and very like depressed at this time, and so didn't like hug me ever. But I was next to her in a doorway, and she was smoking as she does, and I'm just like sitting there. I have hair like exactly like yours now. It was short, and the only reason that makes me smile is I think I looked like this little pixie, And she offered me the cigarette, and so I smoked with her, and I remember knowing it was bad, but feeling so connected to her because it was in her mouth. It was like so intimate and cool. I mean, not cool wasn't in a 4-year-old's vocabulary, but it was cool. It was awesome.
Right.
So that was one. And then I remember she was like screaming that the toaster was talking to her because she had like stuff like that. And my dad and her, and she was like screaming at my dad in the kitchen. And I was like in the balusters. And I remember I was just so hungry and I wanted cereal, but I couldn't go in there because she was having one of her fits.
Right.
And so
you remember that?
Yeah. Well, I just remember being like, she can't hold her shit together, and now I can't eat breakfast.
Right.
And I think that's when I was like, she's just not responsible for herself. And like, this is a child. I'm not a child. This is a child.
Right.
Because she was more of a child in these moments. And then she taught me to ride a bike. And I remember like for 4 seconds, I just remember I was on the 2-wheeler for the first time, and I look back and she's like smoking the cigarette, but she's watching me. And I remember that was the good memory because she's watching me, which I don't remember very frequently. And then I saved her life one time, which was
a bad one.
It was like a few months before she died, and I walked into her bathroom, and I thought she was playing a violin because it was like backlit, and it was like those light, like it was but she was like trying to saw her arm off. And I remember I asked her what she was doing, and she didn't look like surprised. It didn't look like she was in pain, didn't look like she was upset that I was there. And she told me not to tell my dad. And I did. So I told on her. And I remember I was like, she doesn't know, like I have to help her.
Right.
And so she didn't die that day. And then I know that happened because I've talked to my dad about it like more recently. And then I found some of her medical records, and like, that is a thing. So those are my memories.
When you say you found medical records, you went out looking for them?
No, my dad's he doesn't want me to say he's a hoarder. My dad hoards.
Yeah.
He thinks it's okay to say that. He hoards. So they threw away everything of hers except for there was like some stuff randomly in the garage, and I found some stuff in the garage, like some like files, including like worksheets and things they had her do in her care, which made me really understand that she didn't get great help. And this is the 90s. And so like, I understand. And I had my own post-Olympic, like pretty bad dip, but I'm otherwise not like I'm not manic or bipolar, but understand more now that like what they were doing to try to help her wasn't that helpful.
Yeah.
No, it was like forcing feeling. It was just not, if you saw these, you'd be like, this wouldn't be helpful to anybody.
Right.
It is what makes me endlessly like curious about women. Like I grew up with my dad and my brother, and curious about moms. Like I'm like, what is a mom? You know, and curious about, like mentorship really. Cause sometimes you do want someone to just tell you what to do. That's like in that parent or that sibling way.
Yeah.
Or even in watching Hal and Harper, those siblings, like you're so jealous they have such a beautiful
they're so there for each other.
Right.
And you're like, dang, I wish I had that.
Well, they have this shared. I had to go through that with my youngest sister. She's 6 years younger, and she's like, "We're not like Hal and Harper." I'm like, "Yeah, sweetheart, we're not at all." I don't have a Hal and Harper, but I've came up with the idea of Hal and Harper 10 years ago, and for 10 years, those siblings have really helped me, and I at some point realized they're gonna help other people too, and it's not about, oh, look what they have. I'm so jealous of it. It's what do they have and what is it making me feel and why am I feeling that? And their shared history and their shared pain and the way that they don't talk about it but don't need to, and the way that they were bending and contorting for each other, but also for their dad, and coping and getting into these roles and having this kind of learned caretaking and learned helplessness and all this stuff. They taught me so much for so long. And I had to like explain that to my sister, like, no, yeah, I first of all don't think Hal and Harper have a very healthy relationship, but I also, because she's so sweet, she was like, I want us to be more like Hal and Harper. And I'm like, it was so sweet. And I was like, let's take a step back, and I want to be closer to you. If you want to feel closer, let's have more phone calls. Let's do this. But I want you to distinguish that, like for me, especially, like Hal and Harper are these people that came out of thin air that really helped me along my healing journey. And they're not meant to be about my life. They're helping me with their story is really helpful for me to listen to.
How does a character help you that you write?
It's about like just getting really quiet and listening to why someone so particular is in my brain. Like characters really just land in there. I don't know what it is. Like with my first movie, I made a movie called Shithouse, and everyone in that movie was somewhat based on people. Like the mom is kind of based on my mom. The girlfriends was based on my girlfriend. The main character was kind of based on me, and it was kind of. But since then, everything that and I started writing Hal and Harper before Shithouse, but everything that I write now, it just something happens, and I don't know what it is, but listening to why it landed and like letting them kind of unfold in the way that they need to unfold. I think it was really good that I never learned filmmaking, and I never learned how to write a script. I never like learned about, I just don't even know if this makes any sense, but I've never learned about A plot or B plot. Like I let something unfurl and nestle into my heart. And I think that they help because, I don't know, the universe drops things, I think sometimes. And I think they're just dropping it in your lap for a reason. And you kind of have to be just like spend time with it.
What is your dynamic with these characters once they land in your head?
I just love them. Like recently I was in the shower and I just started crying, and my girlfriend was in the bathroom like getting ready, and she was like, "Are you crying in there?" And I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, I'm going to miss them so much because the story felt so over. And I was like, I'm never going to write Hal and Harper scenes anymore. But the real answer is not, I'm going to put them in a swing and see what they do. It really is, I'm just going to sit there and like really learn how to love them. I'm actually realizing something. every character that I've ever written, I like have like found a way to just really adore and respect and love. And I think, of course, every character is coming from some place in me. And I think it's this kind of journey. And I've never said this before, I thought this, but it's probably a journey of learning how to love and respect myself. And because I have this weird dedication towards like whatever character has come into my head. It's not like Helen Harper is very meandering and not like, I'm never putting them in a place that's interesting. If I like sat and just thought about them and loved them and I was like quiet with them, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Hal is stuck in a tire and
Right.
he can't get out. And Harper's going to help him get out. Like, that's how I write. It's like, I'm not thinking about plot ever, or I'm never thinking about anything other than what's the hump that they have to get over and how are they
Well,
going to get over it.
it doesn't even seem like you're reaching for those things. You're just creating space for them
Yes.
to come to you,
Yes.
right?
Creating space.
And that's really, I mean, that is the kindest thing you could possibly do for yourself too, right? But that kind of environment is so opposite everything that it's not intuitive to say this dramatic arc is going to come to you,
Right.
by being, this concave, open-minded, giving space for it, giving love and being curious and paying attention, all the things you must be doing in those quiet times doing that. And it really does remind me of, I went to this meditation with Deepak Chopra, and he was like, okay, it was like a small group of us in this room. And he was like, I'm going to ask you some questions. And I want you to just repeat the question to yourself over and over again without reaching for the answer, which is not normally, getting asked a question is like a hot potato you want to get out of your court, right? You want to give the answer.
Right.
And often we reach for it. And it was questions like, what is your purpose? What are you grateful for? What do you want? Whatever, all these things. And so he told us to just ask the question over and over again. And because we're thought machines, which I think is what you're basically saying, is like, you are a thought machine.
Yeah.
And the more you grow and live and experience, the more like generative you will be, because it's coming from such a big garden.
Right.
And thoughts will come. And the cool thing about the thoughts that come when we don't reach for them is that they're often like a little bit out of context. So if it's like, what is my purpose? You might, if you're reaching for it, you might reach for like a job in the material world or something that you've seen before.
Right.
But if you wait for it, things come to you that are like a little decontextualized or don't seem logical or don't seem like they have a place in the world
Yes.
But in writing, you're building a world. So
Right.
it's such a beautiful way to approach it. And
It's without, it's the, like, I'm realizing too, it's the absence of fear.
Yeah.
The quick thing is coming from a place of fear.
Yeah.
Like when you like, what's your purpose and you reach for the job, it's because there's a lack of security and you're reaching for security.
And people will understand it because it's a
Yes.
job with
But
a
why
title.
do you need to be understood? Because if you're not, then you're not safe.
You're not safe because you'll be ostracized because you
Yes.
won't fit in.
Exactly. So it like,
Yeah.
so it all is coming from this like fear. And I didn't know why I was saying it, but I'm realizing now, like what I was saying about the characters, I just sit there and love them.
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of the fear. I can only write their journey and know like be as their creator or something, or as their listener.
Yeah.
I am like, I see what they're afraid of.
Right. You're not getting rid of their fear. You're getting rid of your fear.
I'm seeing their fear, and I'm allowing them to see what their life is like without fear. And that's where the story gets written, is like, okay, they're afraid of this. If I took their fears away, where would that get them? And I see that place, and then I write them between. And so it's like, and because I am in my own life, when I think about myself, I can't really do that it's hard to do that for yourself. Like your mind, it's so confusing, but I do believe your mind loves you so much. but your mind is just trying to protect you. So it's a lot of fear.
Yeah. And we live in a material world where like you have to actually like pay your bills. You know what I mean? There's like, yeah, there's like survival.
Right. Capitalism is the reason why is like the killer of art, because it is all about getting money, and the way to get money is to do something that people will gravitate towards. And it's like that
it's manipulative.
It's like what you're talking about with like, what do you reach out to right away?
It has a goal.
Give them that thing that they'll reach out to right away.
Yeah.
And so you're never in that place that we should be in. And it's also the reason why you see all these like really privileged people, myself included, making art, and it's fucking like infuriating. Like, it's like, yeah, you're sitting there talking about getting quiet and getting and this, but like how privileged
it is, a privilege
to just be able to sit there and like, what are you talking about? Like, your characters are in your head and you're just giving them love. Dude, I'm like dying. Like, that is like what's so deeply not lost on me, is like, I know that what is important is to love without fear, but I'm like so aware of like how fear is so permeated through it's just it's everywhere, and I don't really know how to look out into a community and try to help get rid of it. I'm like, I know myself well enough, and I know my people and my partner, and I can see their fears and try to help them with theirs. But I think it's why it always made me so uncomfortable when people were like, what's your advice to the general public? I'm like,
right. Because you're like, how do I, like, you don't want to seem reductive. I
don't want to seem reductive, but I also like don't have any clue who I'm talking to. This is why I think my experience with like what it means to be a mentor is like, what does it mean to see someone? Like, the people that I've tried to, I'm doing this like, gonna botch the name, Humanitas. Do you know that program?
Mm-mm.
I just botched that name.
Okay.
You
said it really. You did. You said it. You like. But you did it.
There's this writer named Drew, and he wrote this script, and like my job is to read it and help him with it in some way. And it's made me think a lot about like, what does it mean to be a mentor, and what does it mean to be a teacher? It's like different. Like, all I'm doing with Drew is just trying to see him. I'm trying to hear him, listen to him, see him, and not be like, I know what's best for them, but just listening. And it's like the mentors who have helped me in my life are the people who have just like validated the things that I'm drawn to. They're not like imposing their stuff on me. It's like they're allowing me space. And you allow someone space to breathe when you let them know you exist, and I see what you're doing on this page, and I'm really interested in what this means to you, and I'll tell you what it means to me, and just those things where you're giving them the taste of, like, I've now experienced making things that people are experiencing and giving feedback on. And I think what's been so lost on me probably is what it felt like to just have one. Jay was my one. Like, no one watched Madeline and Cooper and said a thing about it. My family didn't. My friends didn't. Jay watched it and told me about it. And it was one person. Like we said, it just, Yes, I spent all this time doing this specific thing because I felt called to do it. And my family and friends are like, what? But Jay was like, I see it. I know why you spent time there doing this and writing this. And that scene in the library, I was so desperate for that. And so talking to like Drew or reading his script, I'm like sitting there and I'm reminding myself and remembering what it was like to, because I'm like so lost in like, I have to shut the voices out. I have so many reactions that I could go and look for, and I could have just like a plethora of, I could go on Letterboxd and see reviews of my work. And so I'm at this point where I'm like, I need to drown all of that out.
Because that's the opposite of how Jay made you feel.
Exactly. Well, it's like I don't need the way Jay made me feel anymore, because he validated something in me that said, keep going.
Oh, and you had it, and it was like it put you on the right train track forever.
Forever.
Now, for at least forever that you think.
No,
yeah, hopefully, but you're not that old.
But in this life, I will always be able to trust Madeline and Cooper.
Okay, good.
In a way that if I didn't have Jay, I would have never trusted. Like,
yes. Okay, I get it. You're saying it's like a life-altering relation. It altered your relationship with yourself.
Yes.
In a way that you needed.
Yes.
And you got.
And that's what to me, that a mentor is so vital in that way.
Yes.
Because with Drew, I feel it. Like I can have this 5 pages of thoughts and give it to him. And I know that it will like, and he's probably gotten it from other places. Like I don't mean to be like, I'm the one, but
you might be.
And I think for some people, it's like, it's a shame, because some people it's like awards, like a script. You write a script and then you get an award for it. Like, because you go into like a program or something and like it won best pilot or won best, like the writing thing. And I think that's probably some version of like a validating thing, and it makes you feel good. But if you have someone who's like, I see this scene and I was really moved by it, and I thought this about this, it's so, I remember Jay talking about Madeline Cooper in a way that like, it did feel like my life is forever changed, because there's a reason why I made it. And it was this interaction. And I know that it can't just be him. Like, we are all one in some way. And so I know someone else out there would be having similar things. And he would tell me like, this didn't work. And if I felt like it did, then that made me feel like excited. I disagree with him. Like just all these things that it activates. Because like I know Drew and I were talking about this, like the best thing in the world is when someone else reads your thing or watches your thing and they say, I think you got to change this part. And you feel like, no.
Yeah. Well, the difference between an award and this like relationship is that you're actually like on a playing field together, playing a game that you both you're deciding to play. Like it's a conversation that you're in, which is why you're making art, right? You're not, I think it's kind of alive. It
doesn't go away.
Go on.
Awards.
Yeah.
You're like, am I going to get the next award? And I think that like the conversation and the human being, that like conversation I had with Jay, I'll always have that.
It's like a thing that becomes alive only with the dialogue that is its own little creature. Like that you can't actually be by yourself.
Right.
Like it's a creature, it's like a parabolis. You know, the like dancers that are like, they become something together. They're like the dancers that become like, they did like the Oscars and they like became an Oscar.
Oh, yes,
it's like all the people that,
yes.
I'm just saying like when you make art, it's like you're becoming two people or thousands of people are becoming a thing together. Right. And like, so it's different than an award that you're just receiving and it ends there, as you said.
Yeah. Like you're thinking about getting the next award.
Yeah. And
whereas with conversation, it's like I had that thing and I can always go back to it and it'll always have that same value. Let's say I'm like a 5-year-old and it's my first piece of art and I really work hard on it. and it really is like my expression, and I'm making it because I want to share it. And I see someone look at it and be moved, not like say like this is good, but just I see that they're moved. All of a sudden it becomes this, and maybe it was a calling already, but you're validated in this is a calling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of artists get caught up in this thing where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna make art to see those eyes again, to see that
Like a drug.
yes, like I saw that person's eyes light up when they saw my art, and I'm just gonna keep making stuff so that I'll see that again because that gave me a good rush and a good value and a good da 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 da.
Yeah.
But if you just think of it as that one, it was just all you needed was one to give you this like reassurance that like this is your calling.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you realize it's your calling, then you just keep doing your calling and don't even worry about the person coming over and feeling moved by it. You already had you saw it.
Yeah, that's really good. Well, they're mixing up the why having someone see you for the first time is important. It's not so you can get seen for the second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth times. It's so that you know you're someone who is seen and that you can be understood. Now go keep doing.
And that you're doing your purpose.
Your purpose.
So like I'm sure you've experienced someone saying, this podcast means so much to me.
Yeah, just a couple. You're like, that's all you need. No,
just if you have one.
Yeah.
And you just.
That's it. It's like.
Okay, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then you keep doing it. You keep talking to people and you keep putting it into the world. But oftentimes I see with so many people, I see it like the instinct of myself to keep trying to find or keep trying to make things to have that interaction.
Yeah.
But you had it.
Yeah, that's
it was a gift, and let it be the gift.
Yeah.
And don't keep searching for it. Keep searching here.
Yeah.
With your crayons and with your blank piece of paper. That's where to put your time and energy. And Jay reminds me all the time, most people you see a lot of times people make the movie that means the most to people is it's that person's first movie. When there's a sense of purity, and it's like, what's that purity? I really believe that a lot of people get so intoxicated by seeing someone see their art, and they're just trying to get you're trying to get an even smarter person to see. It's like, you got the gift and you went the wrong way.
Yeah.
You went into the audience when it's like the audience is in you. It's like someone comes along, like Jay came along for me and just said, you can go to the woods.
That's it. Yeah. It's like this, it's so rad. And I mean, it's cool too, because you were basically reaching for it too. Like you wanted some sort of like, get the hook off my back so I can go run free.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude,
like
that's
it's
such a good way. It's like you do need it. And
yeah.
And it's what makes you so emotional. Cause like, I remember being on the floor, like, just like I was really desperate for someone to unleash.
Yeah, it's like
me.
those little wind up toys, but it has a little hook on it.
And it's capitalism too, because like there's that like I needed like Catherine Hopkins, my theater teacher in Dallas, Texas. I wish she was enough, but I needed someone who was inside of the capitalistic thing, which Jay is
100%
to get the thing off my back. So because I mean that it just came to me so clearly, like it's you got to look at that interaction as like, all right, go to the woods and make your thing.
Go to the woods and make your
there's
thing.
There's no audience in the woods, but you got to remember that your audience was always here.
Mm-hmm.
It like there was no way that I could have made Madeline Cooper and been tapped into like an audience.
Yeah.
I was tapped into Jay.
Yeah, I got it.
I saw something in myself when I saw his. It's like it's this thing where you can go to the woods and do your art without like some needing, because I go back and forth with, I'm in this place now where it's like sure, do the test screenings, do the things, but like I think the best version of this is if you go to the woods.
Yeah.
And really sit with it and just not what's working, not what's best, not what's good to the people who are writing 5s or 4s or 3s or 2s. When I'm writing a movie or I'm editing a movie, I do think it's a great way to think of it as like, okay, you're in the woods and you're listening to what it needs to be. But then you come back every single day to your life
and get perspective and become a better human
and then you go to the woods to do your art.
Yeah.
But I think when I see like people doing test screenings, I'm like, you're bringing people to the woods when you shouldn't.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Because I'm not saying live your life in the woods and don't ever see anyone else. It's like, I'm just talking about when you're making your movie, you're in the woods and you got to get quiet. And then the reason why you're able to make something in the woods is because of your life and because of all your history of shared experiences with all these connections and people that you love and take care of and get taken care of, all this, the stuff of life.
Yeah.
Because
in the woods you're drawing from the trove or the garden that is accumulating in your life. Like it's not in the woods. You bring everything you've got. Like it's like you've got the backpack on, and that's your whole life and your perspective and your confidence that you got from being unhooked.
Right.
And then you go and you like have the best little camp experience that you can and build the fire and do the thing.
Yes.
And then you go back in your life and you actually bring a few more tools back in there and a few more. And you go and do it again.
You do your second draft.
Yeah.
Like you don't just stay in the woods and do your first and second and third draft. You're going back and forth.
Going back and forth.
You don't need anything to go to the woods. Like everyone does have the ability to like give themselves the woods, because what the woods is just being connected to your truth, and everyone has that ability. It's just sometimes it's extremely hard.
Yeah, you have to unplug from everything, and you have to really like have discipline, because the world is offering you every opportunity to not be in the woods by yourself,
right? And
even telling you it's bad to be by yourself there,
right?
So it's a discipline thing, and a lot of things in this life are right. Like, you know, if this were obvious, you wouldn't have just had epiphanies today about it, even though you've been living it.
Right.
I'm so happy to meet you.
I was happy to meet you.
I have a lot of like respect and admiration, and also just like, I'm glad that guy exists. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to just.
I'm really glad you exist and that this space exists. It's really special.
Well, it's cool to give some space and time to like talk about, like, we're talking about you, but we're talking about you through these teachers and these people.
Yeah.
And I think the real like thing you just said that I heard was like, you do need to be alone when you go to the woods, and then you don't need to be alone when you're not in the woods. And I think that fear of yours of, am I alone? It's interesting because Jay basically said like, yes, be alone, or gave you the permission to be alone at the right time.
Right.
But you don't need to feel fundamentally alone. Mm-hmm. It's a nice way to like orient with those two things that you need to be both.
Right.
In a healthy way, and one that like is actually the best for your craft too.
Perfectly said.
If you're enjoying Mentor Buffet, follow Voicing Change for more inspirational and truly life-affirming content from shows like Soul Boom, The Proof, Feel Better, Live More, and the Rich Roll podcast. Just go to voicingchange.media. That's voicingchange.media for a beautiful selection of productive and positive shows.